Bawat araw sa ating buhay may pagsulit at dumarating sama-sama nating alamin. Ibarat ang iyong loob, mayroon ng kaibigan ang nagdumagay sa'yo. Sa pagtutulungan, pakibigayan, magkapatid at tatakasan. Magkasaka, magkapatid, sa habang ng buhay, di mababalik. Ako ang iyong kasamang kaibigan.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto grade, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver fruit. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa tama. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashet, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Binaugana, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Luray. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na! Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. MSB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. Magandang umaga po mga kasangga, mga kasama at kaibigan. Nandito naman po ang inyong Kuya Dong. Welcome po sa ating Daily Dose of News, ang MSB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Naghahatid po ng mga nagbabagang balita at kaganapan sa loob at labas ng ating bansa sa loob lamang po ng 30 minutos. Best effort. Samahan po ninyo muna ako sa isang panalangin bago po natin simulan ang ating pagbabalita. Damahin po natin ang presensya ng ating mahal na Panginoon. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. For our top headlines for today, May 11, 2023, Thursday, Webes po, araw ng Webes. Ito po yung ating mga nagbabagang balita. Marcos Jr. to push for completion of SCS code. Report by Helen Flores for the Philippine Star. Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. A binding code of conduct, or COC, in the South China Sea is something President Marcos said he intends to push with fellow leaders in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, to ease tensions and avoid potential miscalculations in the contested waters with China. When we talk about the issues of the West Philippine Sea, South China Sea, that will not calm down until we have a code of conduct. Marcos stressed in an interview with reporters on the eve of yesterday's opening of the 42nd ASEAN Summit here. The President said to discuss the finalization of the COC and resolve the bottleneck issues that are obstructing negotiations. The 10-member regional bloc and China have been negotiating for a COC in the past years to manage tensions amid competing claims in the South China Sea. In Marcos's view, what complicates things are the separate bilateral negotiations between ASEAN member states and China. So these have to be resolved. What we need to do is look at what is exactly the problem. This is what we need to discuss amongst ourselves. What is the bottleneck? Where are we having a hard time? How can we fix that problem, he said. That's what this meeting should be for. And I think we'll get to that point because everybody wants this to work. Everybody wants to have a code of conduct. So what's getting in the way? Let's talk about it, he added. A legally binding COC is seen to replace a non-binding declaration on the Code of Parties in the South China Sea in 2002. During the ASEAN Summit in Cambodia last year, Marcos pushed for the early conclusion of a COC in the South China Sea based on international law, which he said should be an example of how states manage their differences. Meanwhile, Marcos stressed the importance of continuing discussions with China about fishing rights in the West Philippine Sea, but without imposing deadlines to avoid making the situation worse. Earlier, he directed the Philippine Coast Guard and the Department of Foreign Affairs to put together perhaps a map of these fishing grounds within the Philippines territory, following a near collision incident between a Chinese ship and a Philippine vessel in the disputed waters last month. The president said China has agreed again to sit down to discuss the matter. The Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, and China all have overlapping claims over the South China Sea, which is believed to hold large reserves of oil and natural gas. On July 12, 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration affirmed the Philippines' exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea and nullified China's claims over almost the entire South China Sea. Beijing, however, continues to ignore the arbitral award. Maritime security, economic growth. Back home, Defense Senior Undersecretary and Officer in Charge Carlito Galvez Jr. stressed last Tuesday that boosting maritime security is key to achieving sustained economic growth for the country. Speaking at the 2023 Maritime Security Symposium in Taguig City, Galvez emphasized that maritime security in Southeast Asian region is not only responsibility of the international community, but also essential for the actual benefits of the people. Let us make this event a perfect opportunity to revisit our way of doing things and come up with innovative and respectable approaches to asserting ASEAN centrality amidst emerging threats to maritime security, Galvez said. The symposium, hosted by the Philippine Navy through its Office of Naval Strategic Studies and Strategic Management, highlighted the importance of ASEAN centrality through cooperation and geopolitical challenges. Two panels featured prominent speakers who discussed current security challenges in the Southeast Asian region and highlighted the importance of the ASEAN perspective amid the increasing involvement of extra-regional players in the area. For his part, Philippine Navy Chief Rear Admiral Toribio Adasi Jr. urged participants to collaborate in promoting ASEAN's perspective on issues of regional and global importance, leveraging the regional bloc's strengths to advance shared goals. Report from Helen Flores, Michael Punumbayan. Next on the headline news, o para po sa mga namamalengke natin, maghanda-handa na. Onion prices going up again. Report by Bella Carriazo of the Philippine Star. The retail prices of onions have increased again by at least 20 pesos per kilo as the highest selling price reached 200 per kilo compared to 180 per kilo last week, according to the monitoring of the Department of Agriculture. Based on DA monitoring on Monday, the bulbs were priced as high as 200 pesos per kilo at Guadalupe Public Market in Makati and Marikina Public Market in Marikina City. The retail prices of onions range between 160 and 190 pesos per kilo in other Metro Manila markets, including New Las Piñas City Public Market, San Andres Market, Quinta Market, Retail Market in Manila, Pamilihang Lungsod ng Muntinlupa, Pasay City Market, Pasig City Market, Commonwealth Market, Muñoz Market, Mega Q Market in Quezon City, and Malabon Central Market. Farmers Group sa Mahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG, President Rosendo So, said the DA should prepare for the importation of white onions in August to prevent another crisis in December. So said the harvest of onions was already completed in northern Luzon while it is still ongoing for farmers in the Mindoro area. He added that the bulk of stocks are now in the hands of traders. According to So, the DA should learn from the country's experience in December last year when there was a shortage in the bulbs amid the failure of the government to import. The SINAG official noted that because of the lack of supply of white bulbs that time, institutional buyers like restaurants shifted to red onions, causing the shortage in the supply of onions in December 2022, where demand was high because of the holidays. Retail prices of onions reached 720 per kilo in December 2022 amid the shortage in supply. According to the DA, in 2022, the country's total onion harvest reached 283,172 metric tons. In 2021, onion production totaled 280,050 metric tons. At least 29,728 hectares of land across the country are planted with onions. So maghanda na po tayo, mga kasama, mga kasangga, mga kakampi. Magtataas na po ang presyo ng sibuyas. Moving on to the next headline news. BIR, billions in VAT lost to ghost receipts. Report by Sheila Crisostomo for the Philippine Star. Billions of pesos in value-added tax are lost to ghost receipts, according to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr., a resource person at the hearing of the House of Committee on Ways and Means on Tuesday, said there is a VAT gap of 13% in the agency's total tax collection goal for 2023, amounting to 2.6 trillion. If computed, this is equivalent to 338 billion in lost revenues. Lumagi said it would greatly help the BAR in hitting its collection target if the problems on ghost receipts used to evade paying taxes are addressed. This is why we're very suspicious in our crackdown of these fake transactions. He told the panel deliberating on House Bill 7583, which seeks to penalize padding of tax deduction through unauthorized, falsified, or fake revenue documents. Last month, Lumagi formed the Run After Fake Transactions to go after those using fake receipts to evade paying taxes. What started out as a small-time operation several years ago, perhaps as early as 2009, has evolved into wide-scale economic sabotage, she added. The official warned that the BR will continue to hound the participants in this chain of tax evasions, be it sellers, buyers, and also accountants who aid in this transaction. So far, the BIR has filed criminal charges against 4 corporations and accountants involved in this irregularity. This is just initial filing of case. We will file some more as the cases are developed. The initial batch of cases against the buyers of fake receipts is also being prepared, he said. Lumagi assured the public that aside from filing cases against the buyers, the BIR will collect the taxes if they did not pay in connection with the purchase of ghost receipts. We would like to put an end to criminal syndicates who wish to profit from this economic sabotage because instead of the money going to the coffers of the government, it goes to pockets of syndicates, he added. He maintained the BIR wants to send a message across to the sellers that they should stop this scheme. On the other hand, the BIR wants to destroy the buyer's false sense of security in buying fake receipts that we are not able to catch them. And for our final top news for today, DOJ's cancellation of Teves passport. Report by Jason Sarvallos of the Philippine Star. The Department of Foreign Affairs may soon process the cancellation of suspended Rep. Antonio Teves Jr.'s passport once murder charges over the March 4 attack in Negros Oriental are filed before the Department of Justice or DOJ, limiting the lawmaker's movements the longer he stays overseas. This was announced yesterday by Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla, who said that apart from the looming cancellation of Teves' passport, the government is now being informed of every movement he makes with the issuance of a notice by Interpol. Once the NBI or National Bureau of Investigation files a case with the prosecutors, we can now seek the cancellation of the passport. But effectively, the passports are canceled when there is already a court case. So we will wait for our cases to be filed by the panel of prosecutors before we seek the cancellation of the passport, Remulla told reporters. He was referring to the multiple murder and attempted murder cases against Teves over the attack that killed Governor Roel Legamo and 9 others. He said this may be filed before the DOJ on Monday by the NBI. Aside from his regular passport, Remulla said the DOJ would also try to find out whether they could cancel his diplomatic passport or whether he has a golden passport, a type of citizenship document given to individuals through large financial investments or purchasing real estate in another country. He has a diplomatic passport which we can also seek the cancellation of if it was used in his travels abroad. But we will validate that information if he used his diplomatic passport when he went to another country. Then we can seek its cancellation because the diplomatic passport is not a right but a privilege given to government officials, he said, explaining that since Teves is suspended from lawmaker duties, he shouldn't be using it. While passport cancellations and Interpol notice may make the world smaller for Teves, Remulla stressed that he still has options, like staying in countries that offer visa-free entry or countries where he had already obtained visas, like South Korea. There's already a Interpol notice. What's happening now is we're being informed of his movements by all jurisdictions. Once he enters a certain jurisdiction, they will inform us of his movements. That's why Timor-Leste immediately informed us of his arrival, he added. Terrorist. While the Anti-Terrorism Council has started processing Teves' designation as a terrorist over the March 4 attack, Remulla also disclosed that his prosecution would come immediately after he is designated as a terrorist. Under the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, only an organization or association of persons involved or who have committed acts of terrorism may be proscribed. Remulla said this still covers Teves, as he said the criminal organization being tagged in the pattern of violence that has affected Negros Oriental over the years would be sought for proscription. He said Teves heads the organization, which primarily operates gambling but may have committed terrorism acts through the years or through financing killings that terrorize the population of Negros Oriental. Meanwhile, Degamo's widow lauded the government of Timor-Leste for rejecting Teves' bid for asylum. I believe that is a very good decision of the government of East Timor, Pamplona Mayor Janice Digamo said in an interview over ANC yesterday. Digamo said Teves should not be granted refuge by any country given the severity of the crime he is accused of. What happened to my husband is not a political thing. He is pointed as the mastermind of the murder of my husband and several others, she said. Philippine National Police Chief Benjamin Acorda Jr. said more cases are expected to be filed in connection with the bloodbath that killed Degamo and 9 others. He gave assurance their investigators will not stop until the families of the victims receive closure and justice. Members of the Special Investigation Task Force Group Degamo convened on Tuesday to review updates and status of the case. The PNP said the investigators are working with the NBI in gathering all pieces of evidence to support the filing of complaints against the suspects. Speaker Martin Romualdez yesterday discouraged Teves from seeking refuge in another country and abandoned his sworn duty to serve as member of the House of Representatives. Rather than evade investigation by Philippine law enforcement agencies, Kong Arnie should return home immediately and face accusations against him, he said. Reports from Emmanuel Tupas and Sheila Crisostomo. Moving on to global headlines. Climate and environment. Climate change, rising heat, risks for workers, experts warn. Reports by Agence France Press for Philippine Star. Doha, Qatar. Rising global temperatures are increasing the risk of workers dying or becoming disabled from laboring in extreme heat, an international conference has been told. The conference held in Qatar as spring temperatures race towards 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit heard that tens of thousands of workers around the world have died from chronic kidney disease and other illnesses linked with extreme heat over recent decades. Countries can do more. The International Labour Organization's regional chief for Arab countries, Ruba Jaradat, told the Occupational Heat Stress Conference, which focused on climate change and how rising temperatures threaten workers' health. Last year's World Cup in Qatar drew attention to workers stalling in temperatures that can top 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer peak in countries across the Gulf. Since 2021, Qatar has banned outdoor working between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. from June 1 to September 15. Sana naman lahat po sumunod nito. Its reforms have been praised by the UN Labour Agency, though some experts say more can be done. There is no international standard for temperatures for outdoor working, but climate change has forced new scrutiny. U.S. administration promised new rules in 2021 after a deadly heat wave, and the White House said that heat is the nation's leading weather-related killer. Nothing has been produced yet, however. Europe has also seen devastating heat waves, but apart from Qatar, Cyprus is one of the rare countries to have restricted working hours, ordering extra breaks and heat protective clothing when temperatures rise above 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Extreme heat and sun radiation unleash heat stroke, kidney, heart, and lung diseases, and raise cancer rates, according to researchers. Justin Glazer, head of the La Isla Network, an occupational health group, said more than 20,000 sugar workers in Central America had died in a single decade from chronic kidney disease. He pointed to about 25,000 deaths from kidney disease in Sri Lanka. People are dying. Around 1 billion farm workers and tens of millions in construction and other outdoor industries are in the front line, the conference was told. But swimming pool lifeguards, gardeners, post-delivery workers also face heat dangers. Construction workers can be exposed to enough ultraviolet rays over 30 to 40 years in more than double the risk of non-melanoma skin cancer. Taiwanese researchers warned in a 2020 study that kidney disease from extreme heat may represent one of the first epidemics due to global warming. According to ILO forecasts, South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa will suffer most from lost working hours due to extreme heat in coming years. India, Bangladesh, and their neighbors have huge agricultural populations and large numbers working in informal sectors with no health insurance. Vida Venugopal, an occupational health professor at the Sri Ramachandra Institute in Chennai highlighted the case of hundreds of thousands of salt farmers in India working in desert-like conditions who suffer high rates of kidney and other diseases. They have no cover and they are stood in salt all day long. Venagopal told AFP in the summer months, about 80% suffer some kind of heat illness. But millions of workers in India's industrial north are at risk, she said. India and other poorer countries cannot wait for international standards to be enforced. People are dying, people are getting disease. We need to adapt all the practices used by others and tailor it to our own culture. Health, health experts say rest, water, and shade are needed to ease the deadly risk. Owners say no, no, no. We don't want our workers to rest because we will lose productivity. But that has to change. Venugopal said. Glasser of La Isla Network worked with sugar companies in Central America to improve conditions. Workers on a 9-hour shift cut 4.75 tons of sugar cane a day. With better breaks, shade, and water, they cut 6.2 tons in 4 hours, he said. Moving on to our global updates. Updates on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Kremlin says Wednesday it was saddened by the death of AFP journalist Arman Soldin in East Ukraine, but that the circumstances of his killing under rocket fire near Bakhmut were unclear. We need to understand the circumstances of the death of this journalist. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov tells reporters, "We can only express sadness on this matter," he adds, deferring further questions to the Defense Ministry. Report from Agence France Presse for Philippine Star. On to our regional updates. Cannon Road closed to motorists. Report by Artemio Dumlao for the Philippine Star. So mga bibiyahe po ng Baguio, you can have to you need to look for alternative routes since Cannon Road is closed temporarily. Baguio City, Philippines. Cannon Road was temporarily closed to all vehicles starting yesterday. The Office of Civil Defense in the Cordillera said a section of Cannon Road along Camp 6 in Tubatown in Benguet was rendered impassable because of collapsed steel bars along a slope protection project in the area. No one was reported hurt in the accident, but that occurred at around 3:30 a.m. Motorists were advised to use highway or the Baguio Bawang or alternative routes. The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH said asin ng Ngalisan Road can also be used as an alternative route, but only for light vehicles. DPWH did not set a time frame on when the Cannon Road will be reopened to motorists. The road is the shortest route from Rosario La Union to Baguio City at only 38 kilometers. Comelec Legazpi's mayor's disqualification. Final. Report by Evelyn Macayran for the Philippine Star. Legazpi City. Legazpi City in Albay has a new mayor. The Commission on Elections issued yesterday a certificate of finality and entry of judgment on the disqualification of Carmen Geraldine Rosal as it declared second placer Alfredo Garbin Jr. as the duly elected mayor. In a two-page order, COMELEC Chairman George Garcia said the resolution of the Commission embarked on May 4, which affirmed Rosal's disqualification, has become final and executory, with no temporary restraining order or injunction issued by the Supreme Court. Garcia ordered the creation of a special city board of canvassers, SCBOC, with Genesis Gatula, clerk of the commission, as chairman of the Education and Information Division head, John Rex Laudianco as vice chairman, one member and three support staff. The SCBOC is set to convene at 2 p.m. on May 19 to annul Rosal's proclamation and install the new city mayor. Rosal was disqualified for violating the 45 spending ban in the May 2022 polls. The COMELEC said she joined an activity for the payout of cash aid to tricycle drivers 40 days before election day. Garcia said he would issue a writ of execution on Rosal's disqualification today. Moving on to sports. Updates from the SEA Games. Chart. We have to adjust. Pivot. Report by Olmin Leyva for the Philippine Star. Gilas versus import-laden Cambodia. Phnom Penh. Gilas Pilipinas needs its good old puso early in the 32nd Southeast Asian Games Redemption Tour. After breezing past Malaysia, the nationals face a souped-up Cambodian team built on a handful of naturalized players and shielded from the off-court distractions of transport and practice venues worries in a Group A showdown of opening day winners. Coach Chad Reyes and his troops take the challenge at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. in Manila in front of an expected hostile home crowd at the Elephant Hall 2 of the Morodok Teco Stadium. They are a tough team. You saw the three guys in the three on three. They have another three. They have like 6 naturalized players. They are going to be a handful, said Reyes, who was at the sidelines when Sayid Richet, Brandon Peterson, and Darin Dorsey led Cambodia to a 2015 win over Gilas All-Filipino crew in the men's 3-on-3 finals. Reyes said he will rely on the adaptability of the Justin Brownlee-led Pinoy dribblers to overcome this new and unfamiliar threat to their regain the lost gold mission. We have to be able to adjust and pivot during the game. We have very little knowledge about their games as a team. We have some information as individuals, but as a team, very little, he said. It's really a matter of how we can adapt. Our adaptability is going to be tested, he added. The matchup serves as a battle for leadership in the group. Gilas clobbered Malaysia Tuesday, 94-49. while Cambodia routed Singapore 85-60 yesterday. The Filipinos are dealing not only with an import-powered opposition but also unfavorable conditions. Right before firing off its campaign, Gilas had to scout and book an indoor training gym as the organizers assigned outdoor basketball courts under the blazing sun as practice hubs. Taraflex flooring in the game venue was a big concern for the team. Continuing with sports, good news! Also from the Southeast Asian Games, Philippine Bells crush hometown rivals. Report by Olmin Leyva for the Philippine Star. Phnom Penh. The Gilas Pilipinas women's team ran an import-laden Cambodian squad to the ground, 114-54, to give its Southeast Asian Games three-peat bid an auspicious start yesterday. Using their speed and punishing backcourt press, the Pinay dribblers wore down the home side and unleashed a telling 36-11 salvo in the second quarter to break the game wide open. Five Filipinas in Ella Fajardo, 17, Jack Animan, 16, Chuck Cabinbin, 12, and Afril Bernardino, 11, and Camille Clarin, 11, finishing in double figures as debuting Gilas women took care of the first of six assignments in the single round robin tournament held at the Elephant Hall 2 of Morodok Teco Stadium. The charges of coach Patrick Aquino go for back-to-back wins today against Singapore after they face Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia. Mariah Cooks, one of the naturalized players in Cambodia, fouled shot 18 to lead the hosts, who failed to bounce back from their 103-101 loss to Malaysia Tuesday and fell to 0-2. That was the game plan, said Aquino, referring to the under pressure defense that led to extra possessions and transition plays for the deeper Philippine side. We had fresher legs than them. They had a hard time in the last night's game against Malaysia, so that was an advantage we capitalized on, he added. Updates on the UAAP. Bulldogs move closer to UAAP 3-peat. Report on Brian Ulanday for the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Unstoppable National U fended off Santo Tomas 25-23, 25-22, 21-25, 29-31, and 15-11 in Game 1 of the best-of-3 finals to move on to the verge of a three-peat in the UAAP men's volleyball tournament yesterday at the Mall of Asia Arena. Coming off a week-long break after earning an outright finals ticket with a 14-0 sweep of the Elims, the top-seeded Bulldogs flaunted fresher legs down the stretch to hack out a gutsy win in 2 hours and 38 minutes. Michael Budin led the way with 26 points on 24 hits, a block, and an ace as the Bulldogs posted their 33rd straight win in the UAAP since 2019. Budin added 26 receptions, while Nico Almendras 20 and Ken Malinis 11 provided help with Joshua Retamar and John Sumari, chipping in 25 sets and 16 digs, respectively. Game 2 is on Sunday, with Bulldogs sporting a chance to cap a perfect season for a sixth overall, for a fifth overall title. For a final sports news, which completes the news roundup for today. Also in sports, updates on the NBA. Sixers Nuggets near conference finals from Agence France Press for Philippine Star. Los Angeles. The Philadelphia 76ers moved to within one win of a series victory over the Boston Celtics in the NBA playoffs on Tuesday as the Denver Nuggets thrashed the Phoenix Suns to edge closer to a place in the conference finals. A towering performance in Boston from NBA Most Valuable Player Joel Embiid helped the Sixers power to a 115-103 victory over the Celtics to stun the home fans into silence. The result gives the Sixers a 3-2 lead in the best of seven series, meaning they will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals with a win in Game 6 back in Philadelphia on Thursday. In the Western Conference, seeded Nuggets are also seed against Phoenix after pummeling Suns 118-102 in Denver. Denver star Nikola Jovic finished with a 29 triple-double for a win that leaves the Nuggets 3-2 up in the series with Game 6 in Arizona on Thursday. The Sixers will head into their clash with Boston brimming with confidence after an assured Game 5 display. Embiid led the scoring in a superbly balanced Sixers offensive performance with five players finishing in double figures. And that completes our news roundup for today, March 11, 2023, Thursday. Before we end our broadcasting, our news reporting, allow me to say hi to those who joined us this morning. Uy, Maan, Borja is watching. Good. Hi, Daddy Doms. May live, yes, meron na akong live streaming. Thanks, Maan, for watching. Mike Inho, Lascan is watching. Good morning. Hi. Hey, si Halis Ann is watching. Brother Pipo, yes, mate Pipo Soliman is watching. Good morning, Sir Doms. Have a blessed Thursday morning. Oy, coffee time po tayo. Thanks. Thanks for watching. And then si admin also, admin Marisol is watching. Joy Navarra Adia is watching. Sham Aal is watching. O si Kong Omi is watching. Good morning, Kuya Omi. Si Chris is watching. Chris Gutierrez. Si Brother Peterson Malyari. Sunny, good morning. Cherry Salandron is also watching. Good morning, Miss Cherry. Good morning, Malu. Thanks for the stars again, Malu. Thank you very much for continuously supporting me. O yung maganda kong pinsan, si Daisy Carlos is also watching. Good morning, Insan. Amy Afable Pasqua is watching. Good morning. O si Joy. Good morning, Joy. Happy Thursday, Kuya Dong. Thank you, thank you, Joy, for watching. Natimingan mo rin ako. At that concludes our news updates for today. And I'd like to thank everybody who joined me this morning. And I'll be seeing you again tomorrow as I continue with my daily reporting with FSB kape at balita sa umaga. Oh, humabol pa si Arturo Cruz at si Raymond Sullivan. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you again tomorrow. I'm usually starting off at 5:45 para po matapos ako ng 6:30. Hi Grace, nakahabol ka pa Grace. Hi Josie, good morning. Yeah, good morning Grace. Bukas sagahan mo para makahabol ka. 5:45, nag-i-start na ako. Grace, kung may mga videos ka nung kahapon na pa-share sa akin. Pasend na lang sa messenger. Good morning, Josie. Bye-bye. Good morning, Bro Edwin. Good morning. Sayang bukas maaga ako. 5:45. Bye, everyone.